Welcome, brothers and sisters. Welcome to Truth Sets Free. Breaking news, the Senate confirms the Trump picks to key Labor Department, EEOC posts. Brothers and sisters, on the 18th of October 2025, Brother Jonathan Berry was confirmed as the leader who will be heading the Department of Labor in the United States of America. Now, maybe some of you might not be familiar with who Brother Jonathan Berry is and what he stands for, and why this is also very significant to God's remnant people. Who is Brother Jonathan Berry? Brother Jonathan Berry is the principal author of the Sunday Rest recommendations outlined in Project 2025, which seeks to amend the Fair Labor Standards Act and implement a communal day of rest with Sunday designated as the default Sabbath. Now, there are some nominees. There are actually some people that Trump nominated or Trump proposed that they should head certain departments in the United States of America, in the government. And one of the people that was nominated was Brother Jonathan Berry to actually head the Department of Labor. And on the 18th of October, he was confirmed. Now, this brother is one of the people that wrote a chapter on labor in the in the Project 2025 document. That chapter that talks about labor, it is him who actually wrote that chapter, and you'll find some of the recommendations that he has written in that chapter, and then you'll see what this man actually stands for and how and why this is significant to the remnant of God's church. Now, here is that chapter, a portion of that chapter. This is what he wrote. Sabbath rest. Congress should encourage communal rest by amending the Fair Labor Standard Act to require that workers be paid time and a half for hours worked on the Sabbath. That day would default to Sunday, except for employers with a sincere religious observance of a Sabbath at a different time, e.g., Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. The obligation would transfer to that period instead. So you are seeing what Brother Jonathan Berry stands for, and even when he's been nominated and has been confirmed to be the one to head the Department of Labor, you will see that how he will be heading this Department of Labor is actually based on these recommendations. I strongly believe that he's going to work to try by all means to make sure that these recommendations become a reality in the United States of America. Now, that will be a problem if at all Congress or the government will start facilitating or presiding over the religious affairs, because that would mean they will be breaching the wall of separation of church and state. And once they do that, then church and state will be united. And oftentimes, inspiration and the Bible has always shown us that whenever church and state unite, the end result is persecution. And that is what is actually going to happen. So this brother is mostly likely to propagate his recommendations and the agenda, the things that they wrote in Project 2025. Now, the authors of Project 2025, or the people called the Christian nationalists, made it very clear during the campaigns, 2024 campaigns, that once the Republicans come into office, the president is going to run the nation according to the policies that our recommendations that are in Project 2025 from day one. And we see that in the Department of Labor, President Trump himself nominated Mr. Jonathan Berry, who expresses these recommendations or beliefs or perhaps ideas. Now, listen to what he says in this video when he was interviewed.
Something I really encourage. I don't see a big. It's harder to see a big federal role for this. I think this is more a question of state and local law. Is reinvigorating, where possible, Sabbath rest laws. To be very specific, like it used to be, this was basically the norm. As best I've looked into this some, I'm working on some research on this. Really literally dating back to Constantine and his recognition of Christianity in the Roman Empire, that you've had a pretty consistent tradition in Western civilization of taking Sunday off from commerce. This, of course, this is a tradition that has roots not only in Christianity but in Judaism, and keeping the Sabbath holy, and having a time not only for, it's not merely from rest in the sense of abstinence from work, but it's rest for. It's rest for time with God, time worshiping God. It's rest for time with community, and even before, in between, is time with family. The lack, one of the things that I think has been so harmful to.
Now, you can see, brothers and sisters, and you can hear for yourselves what Brother Jonathan Berry actually believes and what he stands for. And he's even quoting from, or perhaps mm, getting example from Constantine. This is what Brother Jonathan Berry stands for. And when he talks about rest, here is not just talking about mere resting where you are just staying away from work, but he makes it very clear that it is resting for the Creator, having communion with the Creator. But then there is this seemingly confusion that is happening where people no longer know when the Sabbath is. They actually believe that the Sabbath should fall on Sunday, which is not true. And then they call the Sabbath that falls on Saturday as a Jewish Sabbath. But you realize that the Bible makes it very clear as early as Genesis chapter 2, when God rested, that actually the Sabbath that falls on Saturday, which is the seventh day of the week, was instituted way before the Jews. So you can't call it a Jewish Sabbath because it was there even before the Jews. And now they are saying a Christian Sabbath falls on Sunday in honor of the resurrection, which actually has got no scriptural basis, in that even when you read from Genesis to Revelation, you will never at any point find a time in the Bible when the Sabbath was transferred from seventh day to the first day of the week. So you see that there is this confusion, and the Christian nationalists are actually advocating that people should be resting on Sabbath, which falls or which defaults on Sunday. That's a very big problem, brothers and sisters. Listen to what he says again in this interview.
A very dear friend, someone who's been, I think, a mentor and really helped shepherd me into life in DC in a pretty big way. We had on Jonathan Berry, who's a partner with the Boyd and Gray and Associates law firm. Conversation largely inspired by this here document. I'm holding it up on the YouTube video. What it is, though, is the Department of Labor and Related Agencies chapter in Pillar 1 of the Heritage 2025 Presidential Transition Project Policy Book.
The proposal that's in our book is amending the basic federal overtime law, Federal Labor Standards Act, to require that overtime be paid for all work done on the Sabbath.
Interesting.
Yes. So I don't think I don't think Congress has the authority to mandate like a national closing on the Sabbath. That was always a state decision to do that. But let me add, it was always a.
Now, you see, brothers and sisters, what Brother Jonathan Berry actually stands for. And this is the man that has been actually confirmed. He has been confirmed as we speak on the 18th of October. Actually, he got confirmed. Now, here is Boyden Gray, PLLC. They were actually congratulating him. They were saying, congratulations to outgoing Boyden Gray PLLC managing partner Jonathan Berry on his confirmation as solicitor at the Department of Labor. Jonathan was confirmed by a vote of 51 to 47 in the Senate on October 7th. That is like 4 days ago. Now, here is one thing that's very interesting. When he was being questioned in Senate, he actually distanced himself from Project 2025. I always like saying that don't trust the politicians. They are able to lie in order to gain what they want and then go back now to their lie. So, a Daily Labor report, Trump's labor solicitor, Pick, distances himself from Project 2025. This is actually Brother Jonathan Berry. It says, President Donald Trump's nominee for U.S. Labor Department Chief Anthony sought to separate himself from his Project 2025 proposals, vowing to enforce workplace laws and emphasizing that the position doesn't involve policy making. Jonathan Berry, who authored the Project 2025 chapter on the Department of Labor, told lawmakers on Wednesday his participation in the conservative blueprint was merely scholarly. The chapter proposed broad-scale changes to federal labor laws and federal agency oversight, including revising overtime pay calculations and abolishing the Office of Federal Contract Compliance Programs. Policies policies the Trump administration have advanced. So you see how the brother was actually distancing himself from Project 2025 when he was questioned by lawmakers. Now, don't fall for this lie when he's saying his contribution was merely scholarly. That is all a lie. Remember, even Trump did the same thing. When during the campaigns, when they questioned him about Project 2025, he said, I don't know that document, I don't know even the authors. But you see, later onwards, just some few days ago, because of the shutdown, he ran towards to the people that he was saying he doesn't know them, the people he was distancing himself from, the document he was distancing himself from. Those are the people that he ran to in order to seek for advice. Here is a video where Trump was actually distancing himself.
This 920-page document would usher in the most conservative executive branch in modern American history, if enacted. It's called Project 2025. Its pages offered new administrations a blueprint for executing a right-wing agenda. Former President Donald Trump has distanced himself from Project 2025.
Number one, I have nothing to do, as you know, and as she knows better than anyone, I have nothing to do with Project 2025. That's out there. I haven't read it. I don't want to read it purposely. I'm not going to read it.
That was Donald Trump. He had distanced himself. Now, look at what he tweeted just some few days ago. This is on October 2, 2025. Pertaining to the shutdown, you're saying, I have a meeting today with the Russ Vote, he of Project 2025 fame, to determine which of the many Democrat agencies, most of which are political scam, he recommends to be cut, and whether or not those cuts will be temporarily or permanent. I can't believe the radical left Democrats gave me this unprecedented opportunity. They are not stupid people, so maybe this is their way of wanting to quietly and quickly make America great again. President Donald Trump. This is President Donald Trump saying what he is saying there. He had distanced himself during the campaigns. Now, when there's a shutdown in America, you see what is happening. He's now heading, giving his hand to the authors of Project 2025 after lying previously, and now he's actually confirming that he's working with these guys. This is what the same brother Jonathan Berry, was doing when he was distancing himself. But given opportunity, you will see how he's going to try by all means to push these things to come to pass. Revelation 13 verse 15 tells us, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as who do not worship the image of the beast should be killed. This is a prophecy of America and how America is going to actually make an image of the beast, how America is going to actually bring state and church together and actually enforce the national Sunday law. And once church and state start working together in order to enforce the national Sunday law, that is actually forming an image to the beast, because it is an image of the true object, which was the purple rain during the 1260 year prophecy of Revelation chapter 13, when he reigned and when he had when he had actually merged church and state and persecuted as many as who do not follow the dogmas of the Catholic Church. This is what we are told in Revelation, that again America is going to do exactly that. And once the leading churches of the United States of America join hand in hand with the government of America or the civil state or the civil government and to enforce the national Sunday law, then they would have formed actually the image to the beast. Great Controversy, page 445, it says, when the leading churches of the United States, uniting upon such points of doctrine as are held by them in common, shall influence the state to enforce their decrees and to sustain their institutions, then Protestant America will have formed an image of the Roman hierarchy, and the infliction of civil penalties upon dissenters will inevitably result. Great Controversy, page 445. Brothers and sisters, this is where we are headed to. This is what is just before our very eyes. We are seeing leaders being ushered in who actually are speaking like the dragon himself, who are actually advocating the Roman Catholic policies and dogmas. This is where we are in the stream of time. See you in the next prophetic insight. May God bless you.